Have you ever tried to go ahead and implement a new habit, new goals, and after a few weeks or even a few days, you end up falling back to your old habits? Hey, I'm Ryan Perez, PerezTheDev, and today we're going to be discussing how you can go ahead and build new habits that actually stick in just 3 simple steps. Starting off with step number 1, get clear on your goals. It's not enough to just simply say, I want to go ahead and study more. You want to get clearer than that. Go ahead and say, I will study for my math class for 1 hour at 3 p.m. in the dining room table, right? Again, getting as clear as possible on your goals. This is what's called implementation intentions. So when you have that goal or goals in mind, you can sort of figure out the system that it actually entails by writing out this plan. I will, whatever the action or the behavior is, at a specific time in a specific location. And that way, when you write it out, you're actually 42% more likely to be successful with this written plan. Now, maybe that's a little too specific for you with an actual time. So what you could do instead is what's called habit stacking. This is, well, when you go ahead and stack your habits together. For example, let's say you get home 3 p.m. some days you get home at 5 p.m. You have a more inconsistent schedule. You can utilize this habit stacking for every time you choose to get home from whatever time you have for work, school. You can go ahead and hold yourself accountable to, every time I get home, I will study for my math class for at least 1 hour in the dining room table. That way, instead of it always being 3 p.m., it works for a more fluid schedule. But you can still hold yourself accountable to this actual new habit or this new goal you're trying to implement. So again, get clear on your goals by using implementation intentions or habit stacking. Step number 2, make it fun. When the funner the actual opportunity, the more likely you are to make it stick as a new habit. So I think a big issue when we have habits is we have good intentions, right? We say, okay, we're going to read for 3 hours every day. We're going to go ahead and work out for 2-3 hours. Like, the best thing to do when it comes out to actually building habits that we actually want to keep with us is not going for these drastic goals when you first start off, right? It's good to have goals, but you want to still keep it fun, keep it clear. That way you can build this consistency over time and you build these positive experiences with these small, tiny goals. So a great way to go ahead and make it fun is by doing what's called temptation bundling. So we link an action we want to do with an action we actually need to do. So one example I can give is I personally don't enjoy stretching. So what I do after my workout and I need to stretch, I will pair that with audiobooks because I love to read, I love to learn. And that way, when I see this experience of, oh, great, I got to go ahead and stretch, I can also say, well, no, I'm just using this time to stretch, but I'm also really enjoying the time for listening to an audiobook. So I can look forward to that positive experience. Another great thing you can do is designing an environment you actually want. Now, this is great for both good habits or even bad habits. Again, another example, I personally love Reese's peanut butter cups. I could eat a whole bag if I bought a bag. So what I do is I just avoid buying any bags of Reese's peanut butter cups. That way I'm not tempted when I'm home because I won't have the bag there. So this works great for both keeping away any bad habits as well as good habits. Setting up an environment you actually want to have to really reinforce the habits you want and really reinforce not doing the habits you don't want. When you have your morning PT or afternoon PT and you hit the gym, you compare that with something like going for a cup of coffee or maybe treating yourself to something else you really enjoy. So again, all about bundling that thing you want to do with the thing you need to do so you get an overall positive experience. Lastly, one more thing you could do is go ahead and imitate the heroes. You want to find proximity with whatever heroes, whatever people you sort of idolize within that specific goal or field or industry. That way you can find things that work for them, and then that helps give you sort of a mentorship, so thus a shortcut to things that you can implement in your own life and in your own habits. Then you can taste, test, and experiment, figuring out and finding and tweaking things that work for you that you can then incorporate in your own life. So again, you want to go ahead and make this fun by using temptation bundling. You can also go ahead and imitate your heroes as well. So 2 little ways to make it more fun. Step number 3 is keeping it simple. As the great Michael Gary Scott taught Dwight Schrute, you want to keep it simple, stupid. Whatever you do, in order to master a habit, the key is to start with repetition, not perfection. When we start off with these habits, we think we have to do it every single day, no matter what. And though the intentions are good, sometimes we set our goals too high, right? So first find those small, simple steps that we can consistently build on over time. And eventually, these steps will start to compound and our growth will also start to compound. So again, it's not about finding perfection. It's about getting repetition, about those reps, all right? Imagine you're holding a garden hose that is bent in the middle. There's really two ways you can unbend the garden hose. You can add more water pressure by turning the knob, or you can just unbend the actual hose. And it's sort of with real life. How do we reduce friction in our lives for these new habits? Well, we can throw more effort into it, right? More pressure and more mental pressure towards the actual habit, or we can decrease the actual friction that's needed for those different habits, again, by utilizing clarity on our goals, by making it a little more fun, by keeping it a little more simple. So finding these ways to decrease the amount of friction to incorporate these habits within our lives. Part of the thing with habits is they're an identity change. So it's not just about, okay, I'm going to change my one habit here. It requires this identity change over time. So that's why it's important to be consistent by starting in these simple, small steps. It's way better to do less than you had hoped for than doing nothing at all. And one way you can sort of balance this is by utilizing different phases in your habits. When you start off, understand you're in phase one. All right, your goal is to just do the habit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes even. Then from there, phase two, maybe it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you can build your different phases from there. But you and only you actually know your limits and what you can do more of and what you can't do more of, right? So it's this balance of accountability on what you should be doing, on the things you want to do, but also understanding yourself and understanding your own limits. So those are the 3 steps needed to go ahead and build habits that actually stick. Get clear on your goals, make it as fun as possible, and of course, keep it simple, stupid. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like and follow for more content. I'm Ryan Perez, PerezTheDev, and thanks for watching.